This is the LDC Finance and Audit Committee meeting. Sarah, if you could take the roll call, please.
Yep. Jamie Picone,
Here.
Don Sagliano,
Here.
Kathy Bauer.
Here. Okay, we have minutes from October 1st Finance Committee meeting. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to review those. And if I could get a motion to approve, unless anyone has any comments.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
And Sarah, could you take the vote, please?
Yep. Jamie Picone,
Approved.
Don Sagliano,
Approved.
Kathy Bauer.
Approved. All right, next on the agenda, we have our audit for the LDC from 2021, and we have Shannon Manisi here from RBT Accountants. Shannon?
Good morning. So we're going to start with the board report. And it's a required communication, same as the IDA. There were no disagreements with management, no uncorrected misstatements. We did not have any difficulties in performing our audit, and this one as well just has a letter communicating a management suggestion. There are no deficiencies and no compliance issues. There was one entry that we put on page 3 there for $700, just because we like everything to tie out. And if you go to page 4, it is the same recommendation as the IDA would be the disaster recovery plan. And that's it for the board report. And if we go to the financial statements, and again, on page 1, the change of the opinion. So the opinion is now first, and the LDC did receive a clean opinion. Pages 4, 5, and 6 are management's discussion and analysis that comes from management. It's just a summary of the financial information that is to come and some key highlights. But again, you guys have gone through all of that in your meeting, so I don't feel the need to reiterate what you've already gone through. So if we flip to page 7, this is your statement of net position. So your cash is at 2.7, which is down $362,000 from last year. But there is a receivable of $172,000 there from the county, I believe. The rest of your numbers are fairly consistent with last year. So at the end of the year, your assets were $3,014,892. Your AP is fairly consistent, and your net position is down slightly, and that's based on the loss for the current year, which we'll cover on page 8. So if we look at your administrative and closing fees, they're down $560,000 from last year, because 2020 was actually a very good year for the LDC in regards to that. But your service contract revenue is up $424,000. So overall, your operating revenues are down $135,000. Out of your operating expenses, the only item that's really a big variance from last year would be the advertising and marketing, and a good portion of that is due to the American Rescue Plan Act advertisements. So overall for the year, you have an operating loss of $201,000. And then you factor in some interest income. So the change over last year is a decrease of $197,704. But you have a very strong net position, so that loss is really not impacting the corporation all that well, or all that much. Page 9 is your statements of cash flows, just shows how the money went in and out. So you had receipts from providing services of $723,000. You paid contractors of $511,000, and payments to employees and benefits of that nature of $578,000. You did purchase a small asset for $1,025. So overall, your net decrease in cash was $362,000. And the bottom schedule just shows you what balance sheet items that affected. So your prepaids, your service contract receivables, and your AP. Pages 10, 11, and 12 are notes that have not changed, but there is a little more detail on these disclosures in comparison to the IDA. So the LDC does have some fixed assets there. There was overall, your net fixed assets are 43,000 in comparison to 60,000, and that's because of the annual depreciation. Note 3 is your lease payments. What was paid during the year was 86,000, and it shows what your future obligations are. So as of 12/31/21, you are obligated to pay 398,000 more for your rent. Note 4 is your professional service contract, so it shows the breakout there of the 602,000 and in between the different items. And if we go to note 7, which is the new reporting standards, the LDC does have the GASB 87 leases. So GASB 87.
I hear you. Oh, I guess no one's for you today.
Don,
Don?
can you put us on mute, please?
Okay, so GASB 87, it's going to require the LDC to put an asset on your balance sheet and a liability on your balance sheet. So that will be effective for fiscal year end 22. So there's some things that'll have to happen during 22 to make sure that for the financial statement that's done. But you only have one lease, so that makes it nice. And if we flip to page 14, this is the schedule of conduit debt. There, Bard College, we were still waiting on the final information, but I believe that is now finalized.
Yep.
So those highlights will be removed for the next meeting. And so at the end of 2021, you can see where your debt stands. It's slightly lower actually than last year, even though there were some new issues because the payments were greater than what was issued out. Any questions on that?
Yeah, so some of the bond issuances last year were to pay off some existing, not only IDA bonds, but LDC
The LDC,
bonds.
yes.
And then also Poughkeepsie Day School also paid off their bond.
Yep. So pages 15 and 16 are the schedule of other information. So that's your full-time equivalents for all the projects that are currently going on. And the last is your Yellow Book internal controls letter, which, like the IDA, there are no internal control findings and no compliance findings. So overall, good job.
Anybody have any questions at all about the audit? Anything you want to ask?
And if questions do arise, you can always email.
Okay, is anybody willing to make a recommendation to submit the 2021 audit to the board for review and final approval there?
I'll make that recommendation. I'll second.
And Sarah, would you take the,
Yep. Jamie Picone,
Approve.
Don Sagliano,
Approved.
Kathy Bauer.
approved.
Okay.
Is there any old business?
No old business?
Any new business?
No new business.
Okay, I guess we can adjourn then.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.